Hey, I feel great today. The sun's going to come out. Lots of snow out there, but at least the sun's going to come out. And I always say if the sun is shining, I'm a happy camper. As it is still January, and as I said in my last couple videos, that we were going to do soups for the months of January. Today we're going to do an onion soup, and we're going to do an ancient grain salad. Both are very, very good for you. As you know, and with some of my earlier videos, I have told you that onions help break down cancer-causing substances. So, again, I encourage you to eat onions. I never used to eat onions until I learned more, about food. And of course, as you know, in some of my earlier videos, I explained to you the 8 nutrients that if you have cancer, these 8 nutrients should be in your daily diet. And you get them obviously by food. A couple of them, you get them by supplement. But anyway, I'll probably repeat all those nutrients, I don't know, maybe one of the next couple videos. In my life, as I get done with some bigger projects that I've got going on, I'll be doing 2 videos a week. But as you know, right now, I usually only post on a Thursday. So let's get going with our onion soup. Here today, I've already sliced them up because if I tried to slice them on the camera, you'd see me crying all over the place. They really always bother my eyes. But this is, let me think what I have. I have 4 cups of organic onions. If you choose not to use organic onions, well, that's your business. But this is the way, this is the way I do it. And what I do is I always like to tell you, this is the way I do it. And this seems to be working for me. Because as I have said, before, I've had cancer 8 times. And it was when I found out that I had bone cancer is when I decided to take my whole cancer treatment, into my own life, into my own whatever you want to call it, that I was going to be making the decisions about what I was, what I was doing. And as also I have mentioned before, that I went to a cancer clinic in Mexico. I wasn't there, very long because unfortunately I fell, broke my ankle. I was operated on in Mexico, but I did have a really good experience, there. Came back in a wheelchair, and that I wish on nobody. I feel sorry for anybody who has to live their life in a wheelchair because I was in a wheelchair for 2 months and whoa, that didn't make me very happy. But I got through it, and that's the thing. That's the thing about anything that we're given in life. We can get through it. Just stay positive. Anyway, I've got the onions in here. This isn't really quite hot enough, but in these onions, I'm going to put a teaspoon of coconut sugar on my onions. Okay, just a teaspoon. If you don't have the coconut sugar, you don't have to run out and get it. You could use regular, but only a teaspoon. Now, keep in mind, this is probably servings for about 6. So that little bit of sugar is not, going to hurt you. Because I preach, don't eat sugar. And I've always said, and I try to reiterate some of the things that I talk to you about. And I always say, if anything you eat, because like if it says, for a teaspoon, it has double digits amount of sugar, a sugar gram, don't eat it. If it's single digit, well, but once again, in moderation. So anyway, I have a teaspoon of coconut sugar in here. And I'm going to put in, I liked thyme. So I'm going to put in some thyme. I always like to kind of mush it up first before I put it in. So I'm going to put this in. And that's all we're putting in right now. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to try and get this burner up a little warmer. And this will take, it'll take almost a half hour for these onions to get just the way you want them. So I'm going to put a lid on. Keep an eye on them. I've got to bring this, like I say, this pan up a little warmer here. Just make sure you just keep stirring them to make sure that they don't, that they don't burn on you. But in the meantime, we're going to make that ancient grain salad that I told you about. I have something here that I found accidentally, and I absolutely love it. Now, you can find this brand a lot of stores, because a lot of stores carry organic anymore. And even a Myers, carries it. This is called Tasty Bite, and I want to make sure you can see this. And it's ancient grains is what it is. Now, Unfortunately, in a lot of the stores that carry the Tasty Bite, they don't carry the ancient grain. But you know, go to the manager of the store and just say you want it. And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna get it for you. So I'm making quite a bit of this today because I've already promised it to a couple people that I would give them some. One gentleman that does some, work for me in some of the homes that I do some decorating. I promised him. I got to meet with him today at 3 o'clock, so I promised him some salad. So I'm putting in 2 bags. Normally I just do, normally I would just do 1 bag. And then, I'll put on the comment section, I'll put some information about the recipe and so forth. But basically you put in what it is you want. You should let this cool a little. But, these, I should come back, these, you just put in the microwave for 90 seconds. But it's full of all kinds of grains that I can't even pronounce. So I won't try. I hate to look too stupid. Anyway, now, in this ancient grain stuff, I am going to I have a package of tabbouli. You know tabbouli, is parsley. In this salad alone, you're going to be satisfying so many of the nutrients that I say, or that I tell you, that your body has to have on a daily basis for good health. So in tabbouli, they've got a few tomatoes. They've got, they've got a nice dressing in it. They've got olive oil is what they have in it, and olive oil is good for you. And consequently, I don't actually put any dressing in this when I'm done. But anyway, I have a package. I have a 7-ounce package, and that's what I'm putting in here, the whole package. I would actually put this package with even just 1 package of this ancient, grain mix. But it's up to you. So anyway, I only had the 1. I only had the 1 package. Otherwise, I would be putting more. So I'm putting in all the tabbouli into here, and then. See, doesn't that look good just like that? It does. It looks good just like that to me. And like I say, it's very healthy. That's what we want. My feed line on the, my videos all say, you are what you eat. And it's true. We are what we eat. But the onions are starting, very, very slowly, but they're starting. Get these guys going. And then in the salad, I'm going to put some red pepper. I have some red pepper. Put red, put green, whatever, you might like. I'd say that's just maybe about 1/4 cup of red pepper. I can put in a few more. They say Italian people, cook by, by sight and touch. And I have a difficult time, like, giving quantities and so forth, because basically that's how I do it. It's by what I see. And then I have some onions here. I have purple onions, but if you have shallots, those are always nice in here too. And once again, that's probably about 1/4 cup. About 1/4 cup of purple onion that I'm putting in here. Got some celery, and probably putting in about half a cup of celery. And then into this also, I have 1 avocado that's been, chopped up, putting that in there. Putting it all in. And then I'm putting in some cucumber. Real small, chopped up real small. And that's about a half a cup of cucumber that I'm putting in. And we have some dried cranberries. If you like dried cherries instead, use that. If you don't like them at all, don't use them. And that's about a half a cup. Actually, a little more. That's probably about 3/4 cup. And I'm doing that because I love the dried cherries and so forth. So we're mixing this up, and then last but not least, which is one of the most important things inside our salad here, is some walnuts. Walnuts are good for you. Nuts are good for you. Okay. So anyway, and that's a good half a cup. Gives it a nice crunch. It doesn't look really beautiful. I don't think it looks beautiful. But you put it on a piece of lettuce or whatever, and it's quite tasty. Now to this, after we get ready to, I'm gonna let it sit for a while. And then before we put it on our, you know, our plate or whatever, I put in just a little tiny bit, you know, a little tiny bit of olive oil. I can see that's what it needs because I didn't use 2 packages of the tabbouli, and the tabbouli has that, you know, the oil and stuff in it. So I'm going to put a little bit of the oil, and I'm going to put a little bit of lemon juice. So how's that look to you? I hope it looks good to you because it looks good to me. It looks good to me. And by the end of the day, I'll have given 90% of this away. And then I think, oh, why did I give it all away? I don't have anything for myself. That's a habit I have. But I'm going to give it a little taste even though I don't have any extra oil in it. It does taste good, just like that. But I'll still put a little lemon juice. Let me mix up these onions. These onions have a way to go, you know, to cook up. We need a good half hour. So what I'm going to do is on my burner here. What I'm going to do is put this aside right now, and I'm going to give you a break, and then I'll be back after the onions are done. So see you in a few. Okay, I want to show you. Our onions are done. I know you can't see them. I just don't have very good photography here. But anyway, so now that the onions are done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour in chicken broth. Now, traditional onion soup like this is done with beef broth. And you can use the beef broth if you want, but chicken is your healthier choice. So I'm putting in about 3 cups in here. And that depends upon you too. If you like it thick, you know, don't put as much broth in. If you like it thinner, you know, just put more broth in. So now all we're going to do is bring this back to a boil. And when that comes back to a boil, then we're going to put it in our dish. But while we're trying to bring this up to a boil, let me tell you a couple things. First of all, I've got 2 different types of croutons here. I've got croutons that have been made, that I made from seeded and sprouted bread, because you know that's what I eat, because I've mentioned it a number of times. All I do is chop it up, put a little bit of oil on it, and this time I put a little bit of salt on these croutons. And they taste really, really, really good. This will be my choice. If you don't want to do something like that, and if you want to use traditional bread, like a ciabatta or something like that, do the same thing. Chop your bread up into cubes. And this particular one I didn't put any salt on, but you know, I baked it the same way. You know, just tossed it with oil and then just put it in your skillet and put it on low and until they get brown. So that will be your 2 choices on the onion soup. As you can see, I have 2 bowls here, and that's what we're going to do. Then today I'm going to use provolone, but the provolone, you know, is you know, not one that's it is one that is dairy or whatever. Anyway, so I'll be using either that, and I'll be using that one on the one with the more like ciabatta, full-fledged, you know, type bread. And then my other choice is, and I know I've talked to you about diet bread before, and they've come out with a provolone style. You know, in all honesty, yes, of course, this provolone, you know, is by far better, but it's amazing how you can get used to this. This is really, really good. And this is the choice I'll be using on my onion soup. So, you know, like I said, it's a choice, you know. Maybe one time you want to try this and not try this type of bread, or maybe one time you want to try, really, it's good. I really, you know, I'm really not kidding you. I like eating healthy, but I like to eat tasty food. And I've been doing this for so long right now that actually what happens is your palate does change, and you know, sometimes you go back to something that you normally would eat, and you know, you think, oh, there's something wrong with it, but you know, I want you to try it. I want you to try it. The only thing it's going to do is keep you you know, keep you alive. Let's see if this has come back to a boil yet. No, it hasn't come back to a boil, so we'll give it a few minutes, and then I will serve this up in the bowls, and then we're going to put the cheese on, and then we're going to be putting it under the broiler for you to see. So another few minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, we're all set. This has simmered for about 5 minutes, and we are ready to dish it up. Let's put in a little bit of pepper. A little bit of pepper. And a little bit of salt. Needless to say, I always use kosher salt. Sometimes I use sea salt. The only time I still use a Morton salt is when I'm making some kind of pasta or something like that where you have to salt the water. So, okay, so that is looking good. Now, I'm going to dish up a couple of dishes, but they're going to be small dishes. You know, normally like for a person, you would fill up this, you know, you'd fill up this whole bowl. But I'm not going to do that because, as you know, somebody has to eat it. I'm the only one here today. So I just want to show you how this is done, and then I'm going to put it under the broiler. So as we talked about, you know, these are the croutons that have been made from the seeded and sprouted bread. So you're going to put a few of these in there. I put more than I need. And then in this one, we're going to put the ciabatta ones. Some croutons like that. And it's kind of nice, like, these are quite big bowls, you know, but it's nice when you're using the provolone like this and you get it over the top. It looks real cool when it's like draped over the side, but that's just way too much cheese in here for today. So like I say, if you're giving it to company or something like that, fill that whole bowl and then put your provolone, you know, all over it. Now this is going to be like three pieces of provolone on this, because this is very, very thin. You know, you could always, you know, get it from the deli and ask them, you know, to cut it, you know, thicker if you wanted. But okay, so that's going to be like that. Let's see if it will go over the side a little bit. Yeah, it might. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what it looks like after it comes out from underneath the broiler. And then on our other one, the diet cheese, which is provolone, and we're actually just going to put, well, actually, you know what I think I'll do? I think this time, I think I'm going to cut these pieces because this is much thicker, and I just don't want a whole lot. As you can tell, this is the one that I'll be eating, but it's still going to look good and it's still going to taste good. So I'm going to put this under the broiler, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, here we are again. The soup has come out of the oven, the broiler. All we have to do is put a little fresh parsley on top, just for some color. You can see the difference, and you can see the way the different cheeses have melted. So, you know, I know this one probably looks a little better. Ooh, that's kind of hot. But let me see if I can tip that one up like that, you know, you'll see that. And then the other one is the one with the non-dairy cheese, how that one looks. But trust me, they're both very delicious. I will take a bite of the one that I will be eating, which will be this one. You know, your croutons are nice and soft. You got lots of onions in there. Nice little dab of fresh parsley. Hope it's not too hot. That's really good. And then just keep in mind, everyone, you know, as I've said, onions do help break down cancer-causing substances, so you do want to have that, you know, in your diet. So I hope, oh, and I didn't mention the salad, my goodness. Okay, so I put a little bit of lemon in it, like I said I was going to, and then I put a little bit more, little oil in it. And this is how it looks. Doesn't this look like a nice, that is hot. Now see there? There we go. That could be like a nice dinner. You know, a nice dinner or a nice lunch for somebody. But I hope you try it. I want everyone to have a fabulous day. I'll see you next week. That'll be our last soup probably for a while. What else? If anyone has any questions, please, you can always email me, DonnaLSorelli@gmail.com. Subscribe to my video if you'd like. If you know somebody who has cancer currently, especially women who have experienced breast cancer, as you know, and if you have followed my videos, I started with breast cancer 18 years ago, and then 2009 the bladder cancer came, and then all the rest kept following, ovarian and bone and lung and so forth. And you know, I do it my way. Some reason I'm still here. I know the doctors have told me that the bone cancer in my spine is showing signs of healing. I'll tell you one more thing. Not everyone, and I'm not sure everyone understands what it is, but you have an inhibin number. My inhibin number after my ovarian cancer, a year after that, went to 88. It's supposed to be less than 10. Well, in a year, I got it down to 12. So I'm real happy about that, and I do believe a lot of it is, you know, the way I eat. I do say we are what we eat, and I'm here because I want to share my journey and hopefully to help others. So, until next time, I say to you, Siate Felici. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.